All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle a pretty dense philosophy of living called living flat metabolism. It offers a radically different way of seeing ourselves and our spot in the universe.
Whoa, okay, so right out of the gate, the source material hits us with some seriously heavy language. A metabolically distributed covenant being? What in the world does that mean? It sounds incredibly complicated, but trust me, we're going to break it down. So what on earth is a covenant being? Look, it sounds super academic, right? But at its core, it's not really about theology. It's all about seeing ourselves as people who are defined by the promises we make and the connections we keep with our family, our home, even the tools we use day to day. The idea is actually pretty simple and really powerful.
So the whole foundation of this living flat metabolism idea, it really starts by challenging a concept that's, deeply baked into Western thought. This belief that we are these isolated individuals, totally separate from the world around us. So you've got the old view on one side, the human as this isolated little island, a sovereign monad. But the view from this philosophy, it's completely different. Instead of thinking of ourselves like a mind trapped inside a snow globe looking out, this says we're more like a porous membrane, a breath net, that's constantly exchanging energy and information with everything around us.
And here's the real kicker. We're not just in the world, we are of the world. What that means is our thoughts, our ideas, our sense of who we even are, they don't just pop up out of nowhere. They emerge from our constant active participation with our surroundings, our house, the weather, the people we share space with.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's ground this whole thing in a specific place. A home in Sierra Leone called the Kanemagorian Mansion. Now, this place isn't just a house. It's described as a hyper-organon, which is a fancy way of saying it's treated like a living system, almost a thinking organism that works with the family living there. This is where the abstract ideas get really concrete through just daily life.
And this is where it gets really cool. Take sweeping. For most of us, it's just a chore, right? But in this philosophy, it's reframed as dust liturgy, a sacred act. It's this small ritual that brings order to your own little corner of the cosmos. And it's the same thing with fixing stuff. A broken hinge, a leaky pipe. It's not just grunt work. It's called repairgence. The idea is that when you repair something, you're not just fixing an object. You're actively renewing your promise to your world, making it whole again.
This thinking doesn't stop with objects either. It extends to the community. Sharing a meal together isn't just eating. It's meta-breath. It's this shared rhythm, this symbolic act that strengthens the bonds of the whole group, both physically and socially.
And get this, even the natural world gets in on the action. The simple, instinctual act of stepping into the shade to escape the heat, that's seen as teaching a shade ethic. It's wisdom that your body learns directly from the environment about pacing, about limits, about the need to rest. It's an ethics taught by the climate itself.
Okay, so by now you've probably noticed all these, kind of strange new words, right? Dust liturgy, repairgence, shadeth. This isn't just for show. Creating a new language is actually a central part of this whole philosophy.
It's called a verbokinetic insurgency. Sounds intense, I know, but the logic is simple. Old words are packed with old limiting ideas. If you want to see the world differently, you need new words. By naming things in a new way, you literally start to build a new reality.
So, where is all this going? Why go to all this trouble to see ourselves as connected, to find meaning in chores, to invent a whole new dictionary? Well, it's all aimed at building a totally different kind of freedom.
And that freedom is called metabolic sovereignty. Now, this isn't about power or control in the way we usually think about it. It's about a community being able to truly take care of itself through shared skills, mutual care, and just knowing how to maintain things. It's freedom through cooperation, not domination. This then leads to a new idea of progress called prometopian acceleration. And again, the word acceleration here is a little misleading. It's not about being faster or more frantic. It's about going deeper, about intensifying the quality of your relationships, your skills, and the joy you can find in just living right here, right now.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces back together. We've got the interconnected self, the house that thinks, this insurgency of new words, and a new vision of freedom. When you combine all that, you get to the real heart of what living flat metabolism is all about. It sounds so complicated with all these big words, but really, it all boils down to one incredibly human idea, that real, profound meaning isn't something you chase after. It's found right here, in the simple, everyday acts of taking care of your world and the people in it. And this quote just nails it perfectly. The cosmos, the universe, it isn't some distant, untouchable thing. It's just the household, writ large. The same patterns of creation, maintenance, and care that happen in our homes are happening all around us on a massive scale.
Which really leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to chew on, doesn't it? If the simple act of sweeping a floor can be a way to bring order and care to our own little world, what could happen if we applied that same mindset, that same simple, repeated act of tending, to the much bigger world that we all share?